reading.
Long ago, in a land far away.
Cliché. Also narration. Also far away from whom? People watching this movie in the Middle East certainly don't think this is all that far away. So the idea here is that the king sees Dastan stop the slapathon and he thinks to himself, I'm going to adopt this boy because he has qualities. But what's stopping the king from stepping in to save the kid from a beatdown in the first place? Born of Persia. Wait, so are you saying that the two brothers have been watching from the same place since Dastan threw the apple at that guy? How had they been following the whole rooftop chase? How'd they know to stay here? Lucky for Dastan they did, because now the king can save him from getting his arms chopped off and adopt him.
A prince of Persia.
Nice. Got that roll credits out of the way on the title screen. I think that deserves like 5 cents for some reason. AKA, none of that you saw is gonna matter anyway. They spelled Minas Tirith wrong.
Where's Dastan?
Oh sure, as if you rode all the way out here without knowing your brother was missing. What is this, Throne Alone? It's better if you see all these weapons spill onto the floor. We couldn't turn this thing upright and show you normally.
Remind me why we're disobeying your brother's orders?
Because Garsif only knows how to attack head-on. It'll be a massacre.
Seems like their most trusted general would have more tactics than just attacking head-on, but I suppose if you want to make your hero seem special, then you can make the other guy look like a total buffoon.
The Alamusians will be busy with the main gate, so we'll slip through the side.
According to the useless war tactics tome here, this is sound strategy, because nobody will be guarding the walls during an invasion. God, this is dumb. Look, if you've got some sort of crossbow that shoots arrows at a speed that can lodge into castle walls, why not attach a climbing rope to one of those and aim for the top of the wall? One arrow does the job of 10. Holy shit! A magical crossbow that shoots from way back here at an upwards angle, but the bolts enter the wall perfectly parallel to the ground? Prince Ali hangs from the wall down here, but suddenly shifts around and gets up here with ease. What is he standing on? How is he only using his left fingertip to lift himself to the top of the wall? Where is the genie? I find it amusing that this city left one guard back here while all the fighting is happening up front. What was this guy supposed to do if he noticed anything? Who could have come in to help in time?
That's our way in.
Through the door? You don't say.
Wonderful speech, Baze. Rousing.
Now let us run in an obvious fashion across this very visible section of the wall within eyesight of many a guard. Onward! If they have crossbow bolts that can pierce into walls and create steps for easy entrance, why go through the gate at all? Hop down the other side of this wall with your fancy rope, head across this little patch of green, and go over the wall again. Done! During this sequence where Dastan leads his men into the castle, I have no clue what's going on. These guys throw ropes. The camera gets drunk for a second. Some dude I don't know gets hit with an arrow. I give up. I guess because this is a video game adaptation, we should accept impossible jumps like these. What I won't accept is that it takes 4 cuts of flying Jake Gyllenhaal to make this jump happen.
Hold it.
And despite these guards being fully conscious and having some fight left in them, they do.
Eastern gate's open!
That's Dastan's man.
They call this soldier Eagle Eye Elroy because his parents are the magical MacGuffin eagles from Lord of the Rings. How can they see anything this far away? Dastan sees soldiers running toward the gate and makes a connection between this thing he's going to use as a weight and a cauldron of burning oil on the roof. He then does a series of things that takes lots of time and basically has no hope of working. See all this? I don't believe in none of this. It's absurd. I mean, at one point he spends time posing for a hero shot. How long does it take for soldiers this far away to make it here? As long as the movie needs, I guess. This is the second time we've seen this move in 5 minutes, and it is not a great strategy. Has anyone ever heard of rope burns or socket dislocations? Because horses can go through fire, but people cannot. Dastan outruns a horse with expert Prometheus school of running away from things skill, and even has time to do this useless parkour move. Oh no, not the very important item dangling from your person and not carefully tucked away inside your clothing as it should have been. This urn!
A great man would have stopped the attack from happening at all. A great man would have stopped what he knew to be wrong.
Is this king really giving him shit for not stopping the battle? How the f*** would he have done that? Every single person on that council had a war boner.
I saw a boy whose blood wasn't noble, but whose character was. A king in spirit.
Says the man who, in just a minute or two, will immediately assume Dastan is capable of murdering him.
May I present the prayer robe of Alamit's regent?
So, the king really didn't like the idea of attacking Alamut, but man, does he love accepting gifts made possible from the attack of Alamut.
You should have seen it before your horde of camel-riding illiterates descended upon it.
I guess in addition to illiterate, the camel riding is part of this insult, but it looks to me like they were all riding horses earlier. I'm not sure why you gotta bring camels into the insult.
The robe Dastan gave him! Why?
I know it looks bad, but why would Dastan give his father a poisoned robe in front of everybody? Especially if he knew the robe would do this mere minutes after giving it to him. It's not like he'd become king, so he has no motive. Why doesn't everyone immediately think Ben Kingsley is behind this? King's in his name, for Christ's sake. How do all these assholes miss? Okay, a time-traveling dagger? I mean, I guess if you can make time travel out of a DeLorean and a hot tub, a dagger is less ridiculous by default, but a time-traveling dagger? Also, how does the dagger know to take him precisely back to the point before the princess attacked him? He seems to have no idea how this thing works, but the dagger's like, I got you covered, bro.
He could go back and alter events, change time. But no one knows but him.
Kinda makes you wonder why Tamina didn't use the dagger when her city was getting destroyed.
Give me the strength not to kill her.
Maybe pray for foresight or a more strategic mind, considering you're leaving very clear evidence on the rock. Tamina hits Dastan on the head with enough convenient force to not kill him and knock him out just long enough to be awakened by a gang of raiders and not give herself enough time to get through the Valley of Slaves. That's what's so weird about this new Spider-Man multiverse. If they're going to put Doc Ock and Mysterio in the same movie, does it have to be in the middle of a Prince of Persia film? And how much does that affect the Mechniverse? Once again, Tamina doesn't use the time-traveling dagger to get out of a bad situation.
That dagger is sacred. It was being smuggled to safety when you stole it.
The princess's version of safely smuggling is this chuckle screaming for attention while charging headlong into the enemy lines rather than, heading to the underground tunnels we find out about later and sneaking away. My point is, everyone in this movie is an absolute idiot, and how they wind up saving the world from a sandpocalypse is entirely beyond me. I'll let Dastan send this.
Ostrich Racing.
Every Tuesday and Thursday.
Hey, that's when we release our videos.
Whatever they lack in beauty, they make up for in fighting spirit.
Hey, that's our staff. Dastan sees everyone running away after an alarm sounds, but is so dumbfounded that he decides to stay on the Ostrich Racing track. And what comes of this? Nothing! He gets off the track and watches the race from the safety of the stands.
You bear remarkable resemblance to the disgraced prince who fled after murdering the king.
So I took you on the guided tour through town, pretending to be your friend, instead of just putting you in a cell. Also, yet another instance of someone not using a time-traveling dagger to get out of a bad situation. Ah yes, the fabled magnet knife that holds fabric to a post, thereby rendering the victim brainless and unable to use the knife to cut themselves free.
Hey, over here!
Somehow the princess knows that ostriches release a rare pheromone that forces anyone nearby to brawl fight if a random weapon is revealed. It's like when someone throws one punch in a saloon, or they only have 3 Beanie Babies at a 1995 Walmart.
No more fermented goat's milk after the third race, you hear me?
Prohibition. The gate! The gate. The gate! Why is there a gate at this specific point here in the tunnel, other than to create a plot complication / convenience?
Dastan!
You know, for a movie trying to paint Princess Buttercup as a woman who knows how to get the job done, she really is useless in this crucial moment.
Looking for this? Key? Oops.
Now they can grab a long pokey thing and drag the key to them pretty easily. Take the key with you, or swallow it like a real man.
They've all come from my father's funeral.
You think?
All these foreign dignitaries. I'm guessing you know a few.
No questions asked, Dastan and Tamina are in new clothes and have wormed their way into being servants for a foreign dignitary. And like nothing, they're able to leave that situation, no questions asked, once again in new clothes.
The Mughals of the Hindu Kush are a noble people. You should be honored.
You also should be hiding, being the most wanted man and all. Switch places with this guy and at least become slightly less obvious. Gee, it sure is neato that they pack some paper into the dead king's procession, you know, for just such a moment as this. Let me tell you what should really happen in this scene. Everyone watching the historical caravan sees a very much alive arm jut out of the wagon and they freak the out while screaming, "The king is alive!" or "A ghost!" or "Someone's in the carriage messing with the dead king's body like a creep!" And Dastan is immediately caught and executed.
Turn around!
This is where Tamina switches the dagger for something else just before Dastan meets up with Ben Kingsley. Somehow Dastan can't feel a dagger getting taken out of his pants, and another heavy object being put back in during this whole thing.
The Stagger. You have it with you.
This is the problem with putting Ben Kingsley in this role. It's way too easy to know he's the real bad guy. Why did Nizam even bother meeting Dastan in secret, rather than just showing up with a bunch of soldiers to take him into custody right now, and taking the dagger he wants? Why does this place have so many convenient sniper nests? Once again, Dastan thinks of a quick strategy where he can take a rope, make something collapse, and get the upper hand later. It really is amazing how he knows, in 2 similar but different instances, exactly how everything will play out after just seeing rope.
Hey.
Greeting the person you're going to jump down on before jumping down on them.
Dastan came to Everett to kill me.
Wouldn't Tuss know that Dastan didn't poison a garment that he himself gave to him because he was notorious for forgetting gifts? Evil guy battle montage! We have whips, we have fire, we have spiky throwing knives, we have creepy eyes, but most importantly, for anyone confused about these being the ultimate bad guy, we have snakes!
In trance, we can see visions of our future.
I mean, it's kind of blurry and edited poorly. It's like if Michael Bay took shrooms and decided that people wanted the Bay cut of The 13th Warrior, a movie he did not even direct. Dastan tracks Tamina by looking at horsey hoof prints in the sand, and that shouldn't be possible considering he has no idea which horse Tamina was on when she left. Also, by this time, Dastan would have had opportunities to take other horses and not ride the obvious one.
Get down! It's a Persian patrol!
Jesus Christ almighty, that is the loudest whisper I ever heard. She heard it all the way down a sand dune.
His hands were burnt.
Kind of amazing that no one else in the royal family noticed Nizam's burned hands, but considering all the other stuff they miss, I guess it's not that big a stretch. The best place for this guy to do his Sands of Time routine is up on a f***ing mountain that probably took way too much effort to climb.
Only a princess would think she could outrun a sandstorm.
Behold, it is a sandstorm of exposition where we can stop the movie and talk about the dagger origins and what Ben Kingsley plans to do with it.
And so they swept the sands into the sand glass.
So wait. The gods sent a sandstorm to wipe out humanity, one little girl offered herself up as a sacrifice, and not only did they change their minds, they gave humans time travel? I mean, why not let the horses head into the tent to avoid the sandstorm?
Nizam wishes to go back in time and undo what he did. Not save my father. Let him die. Then he would be king for a lifetime.
So instead of coming up with some bullshit excuse to take the dagger from Dastan in the first place, he went with the framed Dastan for his father's murder plan. Hell, he could have stolen that dagger at almost any time after the siege and gone back in time to become king.
The secret guardian temple outside Alamet is a sanctuary. The one place the dagger can be hidden safely, the only way to stop this Armageddon.
The Guardian Temple is completely separate from the city of Alamet, but they put the sand glass under the city, while creating a dagger out of nowhere miles away in the Guardian Temple. Why wouldn't they have just used the secret temple for both things, since it's supposedly so secure?
We've been tracking you for a week.
Okay, so how do you track someone for a week in the desert, especially when there's just been a sandstorm?
Oh, sand dervishes, Persian. They're common as camel turd in the desert.
As much as people like to throw around the word camel in this movie, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen one yet. If there have been camels, they were in the background somewhere, lying low, being cameo camels.
You can't kill them all. You want to live? Give me the dagger!
So Dastan gets the dagger, goes back in time, and then...
Give me the dagger!
This guy throws him the dagger immediately. I thought that only the person who went back in time knows what's happening. If it took some convincing before, why would it take the same amount of convincing now? Or is give me the dagger such a magic phrase where you skip all that?
What happened last night?
Oh, thank God he waited to ask that question until now. Had he asked last night or at any point in the day before this exact moment, we would be out of the loop.
The first thing we learn, if all else fails, put the dagger back into the stone will envelop it, pull it into the mountain, returning it to the gods.
Kinda sounds like you're just making up now.
The gods must take back the life they spared.
Just because you gave back the knife? The knife was just an extra thing they gave you after you prayed to them not to wipe out humanity. Why would you need to make a sacrifice for doing yet another selfless thing?
We are brothers.
Touching words with my sword at your throat.
Technically, it's more around his shoulder. Forget about understanding anything during this fight scene. Awesome! I guess now that they've killed that one guy, the battle will go their way now. They were getting their asses totally kicked, but now that they killed one dude in a cool way, that usually turns the tide.
Only a guardian can return the dagger.
Jesus, how many rules are they going to make on the spot in this movie? Even if these rules were set all along, it's like Tamina conveniently leaves those details out until the movie is ready to talk about them. Awesome! Zombie Toby Kebbell saves the day.
And he has to be stopped.
He has to be stopped. He has to be stopped.
A knife thrower with a conscience.
Yeah, but you're the one in charge, right? Why would someone looking at you like that change your mind?
Her friends in the palace say the Persians have broken through to the first level of the tunnels. They'll reach the sand glass within hours.
This sounds like a bunch of nonsense that artificially delays the bad guy so that you can stop them in time.
Nizam's keeping the dagger in the high temple, guarded by some sort of demon. It's the only thing that stands between us and the dagger.
Movie suddenly forgets that the city is guarded by an army as well. We should be thankful because this is too damn long already and I just want it to be over, but it's still a sin. Also, they just skipped right over getting into the city, which should have been very difficult considering everyone in this group stands out.
Guarded by some sort of demon, covered in spikes.
Turns out to be a dude who has a bunch of throwing weapons. Who the f*** is giving her intel? It doesn't matter. They figure out it's the same dude they already fought back at the temple. Yet they still let this guy go in alone.
No man can stand within 20 yards of him and live.
Some don't need to get that close.
Later, when we see this battle, it sure seems like they could have ganged up on this guy and won pretty easily. It's pretty stupid that this dagger is here, guarded by one dude, no matter how good a fighter he is. Why wouldn't Nizam just keep it on him and surround himself with his Sandsons, while people dig for the magic sand? So here we see the knife on the pedestal bathing in the light of the gods, or whatever. But why is the door to this chamber open at all? Presumably it opened to Mina's prayers earlier, and if the gods are watching all this bullshit unfold, they would surely close the door so the evil uncle can't complete his apocalyptic plan. I've never been in a knife throwing fight before, but if I were in this guy's position, and, running out of throwing ammo, wouldn't you want to keep this bloody weapon rather than chuck it away? Blow an arrow! Movie knows this is horse but does it anyway because f*** you, that's why. Yeah, that seems consistent with Alfred Molina's character. Be a decoy. That totally works and isn't random at all.
It's been found, my lord.
The sandglass? I don't have the dagger.
I know, the screenwriters have been super cruel to you in this movie.
Hello, Tuss.
How did Dastan get past the guards into this room to hide out and wait for his brother? Is there a secret entrance? A revolving bookcase?
This is no ordinary dagger. Press the jewel on its hilt, and you will see.
Glad Tuss repeated Dastan's words. How else would we have known that he was following those instructions if he simply pressed the button?
And you, Dastan, always charging in.
Why didn't you kill him already? This guy completely forgets about Dastan, even though he wasn't unconscious or anything. He perceived Tamina to be the bigger threat for some reason. Thought these assholes trained. We saw them training. Wait, they dug a hole this deep in how many hours?
That will lead us down to the sandglass chamber.
Damn, you assholes had to do a lot of just to put a minute's worth of time sand in your dagger. Like some sort of CGI Buster Keaton, Dastan somehow manages not to get hit by one heavy stone and survives all this nonsense. Oh cool, the Sand Avalanche is going to direct Dastan to the nearest exit, where he'll land safely and fall right to the place he needs to go stop Ben Kingsley. How the f*** did this guy show up here at this exact place? Because this moment, just as the bad guy gets the thing that will start an apocalypse, is the best time to taste tongue. Also, sucking the upper lip.
Jeremy was your brother!
And my curse.
The movie is pretty unclear about Nizam's motivations to be king other than he's evil. We never once figure out why the world in which he lives is unacceptable under his brother's rule. The movie was trying to keep his motivations a surprise for so long that they forgot to actually give him any motivations.
Don't do this!
Yeah, good job, Tamina. Plead with the psychopath. Oh no, she's probably dead forever. What could possibly bring her back? Oh no. They do the thing with the dagger that we were told several times will bring about the apocalyptic storm. What ends up happening is Dastan goes all the way back in time to the moment he got the dagger in the first place, which not only makes the movie a liar, but is also some totally convenient bullshit.
Brave soldiers of Persia!
I can't believe this is the way Dastan tries to get everyone to believe a story. He could easily wait till things calm down and tell his brother about it, but instead he yells about a nefarious plot surrounded by soldiers that is going to be nearly impossible to prove.
I should never have let the attack happen.
Which, of course, I had no power to stop, but it makes me feel better to say it out loud. Dastan forgets that Nizam's a bad guy and walks away with his back turned. Yay! What are we cheering about? Do we understand why Nizam is actually a bad guy? I'm so happy, but I don't know why.
But I'm starting to think I'm no longer the same man who breached those walls.
That's a short time for a man to change so much.
It's weird that mere minutes after I send someone out to protect the time-traveling dagger, the guy who attacked the castle brings it back, and everyone is sorry, and you'd think something weird like this would ring a bell. Bookended reading.
Can run up to 45 miles per hour.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me direct your attention to the high diving platform 500 feet above the stage.
The boy I saw in that square was capable of being more than just good, but of being
great! You bear remarkable resemblance to the disgraced prince who fled after murdering the king.
When I watched the Mad King die, it felt like justice.
Montage. I cannot kill my friend. Kill my friend.
Yes, you must give us all a good spanking. And after the spanking, the oral sex.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Some don't need to get that close.
I didn't know you could talk.
You pressed it. How did you know I would? I didn't. I had a 50-50 chance and I needed a break.
Marriage
is what brings us together today.
The place I'm in now is that I want a relationship with someone I can team up with and share, like we share the same job and hours and whatnot.